Hey team, Bill Storm here with you. Today we're going to continue our study of John Maxwell's book, High Road Leadership. We're on to chapter 6, Develop Emotional Capacity. Now, I put together some action steps that you can take as a leader of not only other people, but also of yourself. And we're going to talk about how to navigate difficult challenges. So here's some framework around this. So John emphasizes the importance of emotional capacity as a vital element in leadership. So what's emotional capacity? Well, emotional capacity refers to a leader's ability to manage their emotions and reactions in high pressure situations. That's one of the things that really defines a leader. Do you respond or do you react? Are you able to look at something calmly, step back from it, and make an educated decision to move forward or not? Really, that helps to ensure that you remain composed, resilient, and effective, and you don't fall apart under pressure. So let's take a look at some of the action steps that you can take as a leader to develop your emotional capacity. And I'll share some things from my own experience, and then you can decide whether or not these are true for you or whether they'll help you with your effectiveness. So number one is cultivate self-awareness. So John says developing emotional capacity starts with being aware. Leaders need to understand that their emotional triggers and how they respond affect others. And one way to build this awareness is through reflection and journaling. So after a stressful day, ask yourself, how did I handle my emotions today? Was I present? Was I centered? Did I react or did I respond calmly? What could I have done differently? And this reflection will help you identify areas for improvement. One of the things that I love that John Maxwell says is he says, many of us live very highly unexamined lives. So if you have an expectation for yourself, but at the end of the day, you don't inspect what you expected of yourself, how do you improve, right? So when you go through the day, your goal then is to be present and to be aware of where you are emotionally, right? We don't want to make decisions based on emotion, although we're very highly emotional creatures, right? We want to make them on very sound decisions, so we make educated choices. But sometimes we slip, right? Because so many things are being thrown at us, we can get emotional about a thing and we lose our focus. So one of the best ways to develop your focus is to go back and inspect what you expected of yourself and see where you lost it during the course of the day, and then challenge yourself the next day to become more present. Number two, practice emotional regulation. So leaders can improve emotional regulation by practicing mindfulness, breathing exercises, or even seek coaching. These practices help develop the mental discipline required to remain calm and focused in high pressure situations. So when facing adversity, take a moment to pause, breathe, and assess your emotions before reacting. So here's one of the things that I know for sure as a lifelong martial artist. You can't outperform your conditioning. So if you practice mindfulness, if you practice slowing down, if you practice being still, if you understand that in that stillness is when the best answers come, and that you don't just automatically react to something, but you take time to take some breath and let it sit with you for a while before making that decision, the overall outcomes that you get are just so much better. And that is a discipline, right? That is a discipline that needs to be practiced daily. So I'm also a big uh, dog fan. Like I've got a golden retriever named Charlie, and I absolutely love him. And one of the things that I remember that the trainer said was, whatever you want from that dog, you need to train that daily, right? If you want him to be able to sit, we'll practice that daily. If you want to be able to have him lie down, practice that daily. And it's the same thing with us. We have to practice our emotional regulations by practicing these things on a daily basis, and it never ends. That's where a good coach comes into play, because a good coach will remind you of the things that you need to do, right? They will remind you of those things, and they'll ask you the great questions that you may get that you may not be asking yourself in order to be able to lead you down that path. Number three is build a support network. So surround yourself with mentors, coaches, and peers who can help you navigate emotional challenges. Having a support network allows leaders to express vulnerabilities, gain perspective, and receive encouragement. So emotional capacity is not developed in isolation. It's strengthened through the relationships you build with others who support your growth. So this is one of the things that I have really embraced very, very early on in my career. I always sought out people, mentors or coaches, somebody who was getting the outcome that I wanted, someone who also had the attitude, behavior, and character that I admired, because I thought to myself, why would I want to try to reinvent the wheel? I can accelerate my pace so much more quickly by modeling what they're doing. So if you find someone who is a coach or a mentor who has got the outcome, who has already achieved the outcome that you're looking for, and you see how calm that they are, and the reason that they're calm and they're collected and they're able to, and you feel better by the time you're done with the conversation, is they've already navigated those waters. They've already taken all the arrows in the back and they know what it's like. And what they're there to do is to tell you it's okay. Those things are going to happen. But here's what happened to me, and here's the things that I was worried about, and none of those things actually came to pass. And they just help you bring your level back down to that level of calm where you start to be, you're not frantic anymore, but you have clarity again, and you've got your confidence back. So having a great mentor or a coach is absolutely critical in my viewpoint. Number 4 is focus on the big picture. So leaders with emotional capacity know how to keep the long-term vision in mind, even during short-term setbacks. So in moments of stress, revisit your goals and remind your team of the big picture. This helps refocus energy on what truly matters and prevents emotional overwhelm. So here's the thing. We're always going to run into speed bumps, but speed bumps are just that. They are temporary bumps in the road. So if you have your eye on the speed bump, right, you're going to experience that speed bump in much greater intensity than if you're looking past it, right? You want to make sure that you're looking down the road at the ultimate goal, and you understand that, yeah, challenges are always going to come. And I know you've all heard this expression before, but if it was easy, everyone would do it. Well, the difference between somebody who accomplishes a big picture goal and somebody who doesn't is just where you put your focus, right? So if you're just constantly putting your focus on what do I need to do now? What's the most important thing that I can do at this moment to help move myself forward? It's about consistency, right? Darren Hardy, the publisher of Success Magazine, he said, the only 2 things you need to do to be consistent is you need to take daily consistent action, and you have the pig-headed persistence to win, right? So we know that things are going to rear their ugly heads. We will run into challenges, but as long as we keep our eye on the prize, on what we're trying to accomplish, we'll eventually get there if we just keep taking those steps forward. Number 5, take care of your physical health. Make physical health a priority. Regular exercise, adequate sleep, and proper nutrition contribute to your emotional stability. So leaders who are physically healthy are better equipped to handle emotional stress and lead with clarity and composure. Again, this is another habit that I developed early on because I was introduced to the martial arts so early. I anchored in the idea that someone who is physically strong, right, combine that with strong mental strength. Now you've got a true warrior. You've got somebody who can accomplish amazing things because you've got your mind, your body, and your spirit together. If you don't have your physical health, you just don't simply have the energy. And when your body is physically weak, it's very tough to keep your mind in the game as well. And not enough people pay attention to this. All you have to do is go out into the world and look at corporate America, for example, and you can see how many people are very, very unhealthy, which leads to sick days and disease and all different kinds of things. And then you look at somebody who takes care of their body. They just seem to have endless energy, boundless energy. And it's just so important, especially as you get older. I'm in my mid-50s now, and certainly what I have to pay attention to now as far as my physical health becomes even more important now than it was even 10 years ago. Number 6, set boundaries. So John emphasizes that leaders must learn to set emotional and physical boundaries to prevent burnout. Okay, this is one of the things that I believe is so true. You cannot grind and grind and grind. I am 100% against this whole hustle and grind, hustler movement type of thing. It's ridiculous. because by definition, the word grind means that you're wearing something down, right? You can grind it out and grind it out and grind it out. And you can do that for a certain period of time, especially when you're younger. But eventually, you understand that slow and steady wins the race, right? The person who just grinds and grinds and grinds, that's somebody who is very ego driven. They're very ego focused, and they're so obsessed with this one thing that they may be succeeding in one area, right? But everything else is burning behind them, right? So they may be succeeding in their business or they're earning income, but at the same time, they've sold their soul, they've lost their relationship with their spouse or significant other, they don't have a relationship with their kids, their health is falling apart. And all of a sudden, all of these things that you may have been taught many years ago, as far as work ethic goes, you realize that those things don't really serve you very well. And I don't know why we've accepted them as gospel for success, but certainly we need to learn how to step back, right? We need to be able to take time off to recharge and set ourselves up. So when we're focused, and we can achieve a lot in that amount of time that we do that, but we're not living our entire lives just to work, right? It's all about balance. So setting boundaries ensures that you have the emotional reserves needed to lead effectively. So in conclusion, developing emotional capacity is a continuous process, right? But it's one of the most critical aspects of leadership. So as John outlined in his book, High Road Leadership, leaders who prioritize emotional growth are more resilient and more capable of inspiring their teams, right? They're more capable of making sound decisions and navigating challenges with grace. I love that, right? Leaders are more capable of navigating challenges with grace. So by investing in your emotional health, you as a leader can set yourselves apart and set yourself up for sustained success. There's a tongue twister for you. Okay, so if you like today's message, here are some ways I can help you grow faster. One, would love to come and speak at your next event that you've got. I also do full and half day leadership training workshops, which I think need to be done more frequently than they're currently being done out there in the world, because again, habits we gain are habits we train, right? You have to train your people on a continuous basis in order for them to be conditioned to produce the kind of results that you want. And then, hey, as a leader, sometimes you do feel like you need someone to talk to, somebody who you can open up to and share. And many times we can't do that with our coworkers, and sometimes not even our spouse. And you need kind of that neutral person that you can just kind of unload on and get that emotional stress out and get yourself refocused. So if that's you, would love to be able to help you. Hope you enjoyed this message, and looking forward to seeing you for chapter 7.